All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the York JCC. It's a pleasure to see such a wonderful group gathered here tonight for our Freedom Seder. My name is Terry Travers, and I'm the CEO at the York JCC. I'd like to begin by expressing our heartfelt thanks to those who made tonight's program possible. Carol and Barry Shapiro and the Bluma Shapiro Endowment Fund for Holocaust Education, Repair the World, and Carla Morgan and family, Debbie and Ray Yorktown Hotel for their generosity in providing hotel accommodations. All of these families and agencies generously have given to ensure that our community continues to have meaningful opportunities like this one tonight. We are especially grateful to those who have left a lasting legacy, whether through a planned gift like the Bluma Shapiro Endowment or through their words and actions in the spirit of Tikkun Olam, working to heal and repair the world. If you feel so moved to support future programs like the one we're having tonight, we invite you to leave a contribution in the tzedakah box on your table, or you can scan the QR code provided. Every gift, no matter what size it is, truly helps to make us be able to do such important work. I hope you all find tonight to be a very meaningful experience. With that, I would like to introduce the York JCC's amazing Director of Jewish Life and Culture, who has worked tirelessly to make tonight happen. Please welcome Adriel Resh.
The day is finally here. I've spoken with a lot of you about how excited I am to have tonight, and I'm going to try to get through tonight. It's going to be good. It's a very emotional day for me. I'm going to explain why here in a little bit, but really, first of all, just thank you so much for all of you coming here. And yeah, let's get started. So I would really like to begin by showing you a picture. So hold on, get my computer real quick. A lot of you in this room have heard about this picture. I'm going to talk a little bit about it. All of you are here because of this envelope. Every single one of you are here because of this envelope. It was this very envelope that set me on this unexpected journey last February, and one that is still ongoing. Inside is photographs taken by a soldier who actually helped liberate Buchenwald. Tonight, April 11th, marks the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Buchenwald, and these pictures being captured. This program became larger than I ever could have imagined. We applied for some amazing funding to be able to bring about a project later on about liberators in York County, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. This morning, though, in the stress of worrying if everyone will like the chicken, if the matzo soup will be hot enough, what if everyone is mean to me, I forgot about why we are having this program. And I just want to mention how lucky are we that 80 years ago from tonight, we're all sitting here in a building that has Jewish in the title, that Jews and non-Jews are here together, eating, chatting, and most of all, existing. Everything probably could go wrong today. It didn't. It was great. But the fact that we are all here to honor those that died, survived, liberated, and memorialized what happened 80 years ago is what I really think we should take away from this evening. Over the past year, I've spoken to many of you and your colleagues from around the world, striving to uncover more about this soldier and the brave liberators from right here in York County. I'll show you a picture of him. What I found kind of a little irritating is how little we know about them. I wanted to know more, and as many of you know, when I've spoken to you, I want to know more. I want to know more. Tell me all your stories. Many never spoke of the horrors that they witnessed in the camps, and their silence, perhaps out of pain and protection, has left gaps in our collective memory. So here at the JCC, we're working to fix that. If I could talk about all the things that I learned this year and stories that I have heard, we would probably be here till Rosh Hashanah. I feel incredibly lucky that I get to tell at least this part of the story tonight, and I look forward to sharing more with y'all in the future. Throughout this journey, I've turned to many individuals and organizations for help, guidance, and simply an ear willing to listen. The Four Chaplains Memorial Foundation, the National Archives, the Buchenwald Memorial Museum, the United States Holocaust Museum, West Point, the York County History Center, Jim McClure, Kay McAdams, Beverly Moore, the Arlson Archives, Yad Vashem, and even the stranger seated next to me on a plane just a few months ago. All of our speakers that I've met and spoke with while on this journey, Harry, where's Harry? Hi, Harry. I met at the World War II Experience Museum's World War II weekend. And one of the first things that he spoke to me about was Don's sculpture in our very lobby. And that is how I got this idea to have this Freedom Seder. I was very moved by how much Harry spoke about Don's sculpture. And I was there because I spoke with Beverly Barn a few weeks prior to having Sammy come speak. Where's Beth? Where's Beth? Hi. She knows so many amazing people, and she had invited me to this World War II weekend. All these pieces from this past year and a half have fallen into place for tonight to have happened. I'm so glad everyone registered and is here tonight. I just want y'all to know it's really amazing to have all these pieces put into place. The big question I get when explaining this project is why? Why is it important? Why am I doing all this? Why am I staying up all night combing through archives, bugging my mom at 2 in the morning if she knows what this means in German or Yiddish? And what I've come to realize is that Sammy, Harry, Don, and all of us, we're all connected, especially here in our community. The Holocaust may feel distant to some, but I assure you it's closer than you think. The Liberator's story and their courage and their haunting memories are a part of our shared history, and along with our survivors and our memorial artists, it's our responsibility to tell them and listen to them. In 2026, we will hold a program dedicated to our soldier and his fellow liberators, a tribute to their bravery and a reminder that their stories must never be forgotten, just like ours. So I'd like to show you a few pictures real quick of pictures that were taken 80 years ago tonight. I do have some on the table, the originals. We will have more later during our break and such. If you'd like to come look at them, please do. Some of the more graphic ones that some of you may have seen, I do not have out right now. We'll have those later. These are the gates of Buchenwald right after liberation. Buchenwald was actually then turned into a displaced persons camp, and Mr. Stewart spoke a lot about it. So this was some art that was on one of the buildings at Buchenwald. So once again, do come and see the pictures. Now, I would like to share a video with you all. I was able to get in contact with his family after spending maybe 5 to 6 months combing through documents. Pretty much everyone at that table, 21, can you all raise your hands? They all helped to try to find him. And last summer I did make contact with his family. So I'm going to play a video from his grandson.
McGee. I'm here in Sarasota, Florida. Adriel had asked me to say a few words about my grandfather, Stuart Nicely. From what I understand, you all are there today for many reasons, but there is some sort of a connection to my grandfather, Stuart Nicely. Our family was told that an individual had dropped off quite a slew of photographs that my grandfather had taken during the war. And Adriel had reached out to me. We were unaware of, our family's unaware of these photos, so when Adriel called, it was kind of a shock. And of course, seeing the photos was even a greater shock, as you can imagine. You know, my grandfather never really spoke about the war to us grandkids. And from what my mom told me, he really never spoke about it to his own children. I'm going to try not to get choked up. She tells the story that when he got home from the war, he walked in the front door, came to the kitchen, sat down, and just cried. And after seeing the photos, I could understand why. All I remember my mom telling me was that, well, I'll tell you, my grandfather, when he was called up to serve, he was working in a men's clothing store. And he actually was a medic when he first went over to Germany. And apparently from the little story that I did hear about that, part of it was that apparently the photographer for the battalion or division or whatever it's called was either killed or injured, and they had asked if somebody knew photography, and he lied, actually. He said he did, which is not, he had no right. I've written a lot of this down. The irony of that is that when he came back to the United States, he, in Red Lion, Pennsylvania, he opened up a little photography shop, and that ended up being his life's work. He was a great husband, a great father, grandfather, I'm sorry, a loyal friend. He was a great golfer. He was a scratch golfer, tennis player, dancer. He was a great guy. I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud of the legacy he's left behind with his photos. And I wish I could have told him that. Thank you.
A lot of people ask why I do what I do, and right there, that's why. He's been wonderful. I can't wait to share this program with y'all next year, so be on the lookout for that program. So our Path to Freedom Seder, honoring liberation and Holocaust remembrance. Tonight we will come together not only to celebrate our journey from slavery to freedom, but also honor the resilience of those who endured oppression and the courage of those who fought for liberation. As we retell our Passover story, we also reflect on the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Buchenwald, 80 years ago today, on April 11th, 1945. Real quick before we get into our Shabbat blessings, I learned a very interesting fact last week about a item here in our very own auditorium. If y'all could turn around real quick and look at the Torah in the Torah case in the very back. So this is our memorial Torah. If you would like to hear more about it, I think Elliot is great to talk about it. I found out last week, and then a little bit after I did some research, that one of the gentlemen who built that case actually did survive Buchenwald and Auschwitz. His twin brothers survived Auschwitz because they were great woodworkers. And where's Blossom? There's Blossom. So Ms. Blossom Zell, that is her family story, and we're getting together more to talk more about her these two twin brothers who were woodworkers in Auschwitz and their story more. So once again, be on the lookout for another interesting program. But this Holocaust education that we do, it sometimes seems like it gets repetitive, but we're always learning new things and finding new things. With that in mind, I would like to invite up Bob Grossman and Rabbi Melody to go over our Yardside Candle project, the Yellow Candle Project.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody. It is the Jewish tradition to light a memorial candle on the anniversary of a loved one's death. In the Holocaust, whole families, clans, villages were wiped off the face of the earth. These victims had no one to remember them. Recognizing this, Yom HaShoah, Holocaust Remembrance Day, was created to memorialize those lost in the Holocaust. Because they had no one to remember them, we light a candle to remember them on the eve before Yom HaShoah. About 50 years ago, the Federation of Jewish Men's Club created the Yellow Candle program. They ship these candles all over the world, so this is a true international event. The Yellow Candle program builds a link in the chain of memory by continuing to memorialize Holocaust victims and stand against anti-Semitism and all forms of hatred against Jews. One of the questions I get frequently is why yellow? Because most memorial candles that are used by individual families are just candle color. But yellow is a color closely associated with the Holocaust for many reasons. But one of the most obvious reasons that I tell everybody is this was the color of the stars the Jews were forced to wear so they could be easily identified. Now, we have on a table in the back in the middle. We have a table of yellow memorial candles here for anyone who wants one. Please pick it up and take it with you when you leave. And just so you know, members of TBI and of Shalom, you should have candles waiting for you if you didn't pick them up yet. They are at the temple. So now, at every table, there is one of these yellow candles, and hopefully matches. And I'm going to ask someone at each table to please light these memorial candles. And then Rabbi Melody is going to lead us in reciting the Kaddish.
And if you have a direct connection to the Holocaust, would you please be the person to light at your table? Mourner's Kaddish has nothing in it about mourning. What it does do is remind us that God is a presence, and that we acknowledge that presence and acknowledge the mystery and the helplessness of just not understanding. Sometimes you just cannot understand the inexplicable. Primo Levi was asked the question, how could this happen? Where was God? His answer was, where was humanity? With that thought, I would like to invite you to rise as you are able for Mourner's Kaddish. And if you don't know the prayer, then just listen for the words Ve'imru, because after that, you say Amen. Yitkadal ve'yitkadash shemei rabbah. Be'alma divra chirutei ve'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon u'vyomechon u'b'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala u'bizman karib ve'imru. Amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mivorach le'olam u'lomei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitfa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalach shemei dekudesha brichu le'ela min chata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechema miran ba'alma v'imru. Amen. Ishlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim Ba'al kol Yisrael ve'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru. Amen.
Thank you. We're going to have just a moment of silence.
Thank you, Rabbi Melody. I would like to invite Rabbi Melody back up to stage. Shehian is a great prayer that we say whenever we all come together. We're now going to start our Shabbat blessings. Shabbat before Passover is always fun. We kind of get to change things up a little bit, but we still do our Shabbat blessings. I would now like to invite up the Wah family to help me light tonight's Shabbat candles. She came up really fast. So this is Evie. Wave. Hi, Evie. Evie is the great-granddaughter of a Buchenwald Death March survivor. Her presence here tonight is a testament to the lasting legacy of survival and remembrance. Her father, Martin, his grandson, will share a few words about his grandfather.
Hello. Well, it's hard for me to, come up here and speak in front of everybody, but I'm very honored to be invited to come to this and share my grandfather's story. Andrei Matrzyuk was an Orthodox Catholic farmer from Chernobyl Oblast, Ukraine. He was in his 30s. He, and along with other men in the area, were told by the occupying Russian army that they were now fighting for them. However, without being given any weapons or training, they were sent out to the front line, where they were swiftly taken and rounded up by the Nazis. After being transported from Ukraine to Germany, he was first processed in Cologne prison before his next destination in Buchenwald concentration camp. Almost immediately after arriving, he suffered from typhoid fever and performed various tasks of hard labor, including at the quarry, from September until just before the liberation in April. Before liberation, he was one of the many who were sent on a death march out of the camp. When they reached the end of the march, he heard gunshots ahead and understood what his fate would be if he continued to wait in line. He and others took that opportunity and escaped into the woods and sheltered in basically a ditch for days. They stayed there in silence until they saw a truck with a star on its side, and then he knew he was safe. He was safe to leave from his cover. His survival is not taken for granted. He was one of the lucky few who was able to walk away from the horror that met him at the camps and continue to live out his life in peace. Evie is one of his 3 grandchildren, who is told about his strength he had in life and the love he had for his family.
Please say with me if you know it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu b'halaner shel Shabbat shalom tov. Thank you, Martin, Becca, and Evie. So Becca actually has been my best friend of 26 years and married into a survivor family. She's gotten to hear the stories of my own family and our story of Holocaust survivors and those also that died in the Holocaust. My grandpa, who's sitting over there, Papa, can you wave real quick so everyone can see who that is? His mom, my great-grandmother, and then her mom also were able to escape, but many of her family did not get to escape. We're working right now on the history of one of her cousins, which Helen is helping me translate documents into Czech. So we all have our own stories, and we've all been brought here by those stories. Oh, okay, breathing. Thank you. We're now going to say Kiddush. I would like to invite Sammy. Here's Sammy. To come say Kiddush, and Helen, you'd like to come up? The Kiddush is a blessing over the wine, and it not only marks the holiness and sweetness of this day, but especially for today, it also affirms life and continuity and hope.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagufah.
Our next prayer that we say on Shabbat is the Hamotzi. It's usually a blessing done over bread, but tonight we're going to be doing it over matzah because tomorrow starts Passover, and traditionally we do not have bread or any type of grain like that the night before Passover. So I would really like to invite Harry Miller and Lee to come up and say Hamotzi with me. Harry, you'll hear more about Harry's story, and Lee. They met for the very first time tonight, and while meeting people is wonderful, their meeting was very special. Lee's dad was actually in the camp that Harry helped knock down the fences to. So you'll get to hear a little bit more about that. So, hi Harry.
Thank you.
You want to come stand with me?
Sure.
Yeah, hi.
Anytime.
Anytime, all right. All right, so with these two, the hamotzi is in the challah, it's a symbol of both hardship and redemption, and reminding us that sustenance itself is an act of survival and liberation. So if you know it, please say it with me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of all, who brings forth bread from the earth. You don't have to eat all of it.
Do it, Harry.
You need to have some water with it. It's a little rough. All right, if you guys would like to sit down, thank you so much. Thank you, Harry. We also have some other very special people here tonight. Our children of survivors. The children of survivors, they're going to be the ones that are going to carry on the tale of their parents and their family. So I would like to honor them when we say the blessing of the children. My children are over there, and I would actually like to call up my dad to come help us with the blessing of the children. If you are a child of a Holocaust survivor, if you're able to stand up, we would love for you to. You all carry forward the stories and the strength and that sacred duty of remembrance for your parents. And I would like everyone to take a look to see who all of our children of survivors are. Now, normally when you bless your children, Dad usually like to show how to do it. I never miss a chance to have my dad be able to bless me on Shabbat. So thank you for letting him come up here and do it. So he's going to lead us in the children, blessing of the children.
So in this blessing, we want our children, our daughters in this case at least, to be like our matriarchs. So what we say is, may you be like Yisimcha Elohim, Kasera, Rivka, Rachel, Bilea. Amen.
Thanks, Daddy. May God make you like Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. And then Yisimach Elohim Ephraim, V'hi Menashe. May God make you like Ephraim and Menashe. Thank you so much to all of our children of survivors for being here tonight. We look forward to hearing from you more about your experiences and then passing on your parents' own stories.